Everybody, Michael here with another tabletop video review. Today we're going to check out the Umarex HK USP Blowback CO2 BB pistol. And I want to thank Umarex again for providing this airgun for review. It's not available just yet in our Canada and US online replica airgun stores, but it should be fairly soon. Just got to get stock in. This gun is basically, I believe, just starting to ship, so it does take a little bit for it to show up in the stores. Now, I haven't done a field test shooting video yet for it as well, so keep posted for that. That'll be in a future video coming up shortly, hopefully. Now, if you haven't noticed, it kind of looks a lot like this guy right here. They're both HK USPs. One is the previous model. This is the non-blowback version. I have reviewed it. It's a full-size dropout metal magazine version with a metal slide polymer frame, very similar in that regard, but this one doesn't have any blowback operation, and it's basically a double action only trigger. You know, no working slide catch, working safety, working mag release, full-size dropout mag. That's kind of nice. Good, decent weight to it. They're very comparable in weight. Maybe this guy's a little heavier, but it's very similar in weight. Recessed barrel. Nice gun if you don't mind not having blowback action. Pretty decent gun. So really very similar. Some slight coloration differences, but they're based on the same gun, okay? So you can see here, pretty much the same gun. All right, let's focus on today's gun here. The Umarex HK USP Blowback CO2 BB pistol. So let's get right into some of the specifications. It is a replica of the original real steel HK USP. It does have full blowback operation, so that's not that semi-blowback, it's full blowback. I believe this gun is made in the KWC factory. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it seems very KWC-ish. And a lot of those blowback guns, you know how they work. They're full blowback action, full dropout metal magazines, all that stuff. Now, it's going to have a polymer frame and metal slide. That's pretty typical to most modern guns these days, real steel or BB. That's the way it's going, polymer frame, metal slide, lots of metal parts inside, obviously. This gun does have a lot of metal parts. I believe the trigger, slide catch, and safety and magazine release, of course, hammer, internal parts like the barrel are all going to be metal, right? This gun uses standard 12-gram CO2 cartridges. It shoots 4.5 millimeter steel BBs. It has a 16-round dropout all-metal full-size magazine, which I'll show you in a bit. It does have a 4-inch smoothbore barrel. It utilizes fixed white dot sights. It also shoots in single and double action, so you can have the hammer semi-cocked or even not cocked at all and shoot in double action. It has a claimed FPS of 325, weighs in at 975 grams, and it's fully HK licensed via Umarex. You also have this nice rail here. This will work for accessories if you want to add a laser or possibly a tactical light, something like that. It does have sort of an interesting working decocker, so the safety does work like a decocker as well, so I'll show you that when I'm taking a look around the gun. This gun is also made in Taiwan, which is where the KWC factory is. Now, it does come in, the clamshell packaging. Not a big fan. They're fun to get into. Once you get into them, they're pretty much mangled. They're nice. You can see the gun from the outside if it's on the shelf, but the gun just doesn't seem, that quality when you're looking at it inside of here. It's going to kind of look like a toy, give the impression of it being a toy. It's not a toy. It's actually a very well made gun, good quality gun, but in this packaging, it's hard to tell, right? All right, so 16 rounds, drop-free mag, metal slide, right? Rail for accessories. Not too much else on this side. Let's take a look at the other side here. Okay, what do we got here? We got steel BB, 12 grams, 16 rounds, so a lot of the same stuff. I don't think there's anything else really on here. The same at the top there. Okay, so 325 FPS. Basically, you're going to have your manual inside. You're going to have your manual inside that packaging along with your Allen key, okay? And of course, what we expect with most of these manuals, blowback action, just some more specifications on there. How to use the gun, operation, description, things like that, right? How to load it up, parts descriptions, how to load CO2, how to fire it safe, fire, how to load the magazine, BBs, not just CO2, of course, right? All of that stuff, aiming, pretty boring. All right, we'll put that away. Let's take a look around this gun now. That's really what we came here for this video, right? I'm sure most people just want to see this guy nice and close. So you've got some lettering, you know, you've got the HK USP licensing and the caliber here. This is just painted on. It's not right in the slide, right? So it's just white lettering painted, or however they get it on there. They probably don't paint it. It's probably some sort of stencil or something. Some machine does it, I'm sure, right? So you have your slide catch release. It's working, right? Locks back when the last round is fired. So you see how that safety decocker works? So it sort of half cocks it, right? It's still actually, I'm not sure if it's going to fire in that position, but it does have a double action trigger as well as the full single action trigger, right? So, and then you have your safety position there where nothing's going to work, right? Nothing. There is your trigger guard, of course. You do have, all right, you do have your serial number, like a metal stamp there. Some more warning instructions, or there's, I'm going to show you the other ones in a second here. Ambidextrous trigger style, so trigger guard style magazine release. I will show you the USP. This is very, you know, gritty, textured grips here. That it's almost, I wouldn't call it sandpaper-like, but it's got that sort of feel, not as aggressive. Okay, and then of course you've got your magazine for loading the BBs in the top there, right? And then you've got your CO2 valve. Your CO2 goes in the bottom, okay? All full metal magazine, really nice. Lots of texturing on the grips here, okay? White dot sights, right? Front and back. Okay, there's that lettering. Now, what I found pretty nice is that this is actually a separate part. So, like I said, I'm not really sure who makes this. Could be KWC, could be another company. I'm not 100% sure. It seems like a KWC gun, but it's really high quality. It's maybe even higher quality than some KWC guns. So it might even be a VNC, I believe that's the other company that makes fairly high quality blowback guns out of Taiwan. Or is it VFC? And there's your licensed trademarks again, right? Just want to let you get a good look at this gun because it is really nice. Okay, so that's that lettering that I'm, you know, not a big fan of. Recessed barrel, okay? So get that full open ejection port, right? The gun's definitely a lot lighter with the magazine out. Floating barrel system. Okay, let's do a quick field strip of this gun. So you bring this back till that's open there. Then you can pop out the slide catch release. Everything comes forward now, right? So you have your frame here. Okay, you know, all polymer, fairly light, obviously. The slide is all metal. All right, there's your slide spring. I'm not going to take it right apart, but basically this will come out, your barrel will come out, it all drops out, right? Got your gas tube here. Okay. Pretty nice. Put it back together. And that's pretty much it. Really easy to field strip this gun. All right, let's quickly talk about some of the pros and the cons for the Umarex HK USP Blowback CO2 BB pistol. Again, it's got that full blowback action, not the half blowback, the full blowback, kind of like the airsoft guns. Very similar in style to a lot of those full blowback airsoft guns. And typically with those ones, you're going to find full-size dropout metal magazines that hold the CO2 and the BBs. We all love that, right? And this gun has all that. It's fully field strippable, as I showed you. There's a lot of metal parts in it where you'd expect to find them in the real steel H&K USP or any modern semi-auto pistol. It's a very accurate replica of the original H&K USP, so it's got that going for it. Of course, it's got the full licensing via Umarex. That adds to the accuracy and realism. And you're going to find white dot sights front and back, which helps with sighting in your targets on pretty much any background. The H&K USP also shoots in single and double action. So once that slide's been racked back, it'll shoot in single action only. You can decock it if you want to and then shoot in double action. It's totally up to you. You're also going to find a rail for accessories if you want to add stuff like a laser or tactical light. All right, a few cons. I'm not a big fan of the clamshell packaging. Like I said, it makes the gun seem cheap even before you actually hold it and feel it. I just find by putting the gun in a well-decorated box just makes it feel more premium. Again, the sights are non-adjustable. It would have been nice if the rear sight was adjustable for windage. And that warning writing on the right side of the slide is a bit large and obvious. Most of us aren't big fans on the warning instructions. None of us really need to read it anymore. We've read it 100 times on all the other air guns. So, just having it in the manual, I think would be fine. All right, again, thanks Umarex for providing this gun for review. And again, it will be available in our Canada and US replica airgun store in the near future. So just wait a little bit until we get product and you'll be able to buy it. I'll put links in the description of this video when I do get it in stock. I'll try and remember to do that for you guys. You can also search for it in our replica airgun site down the road. You'll find it, I'm sure, no problem. Make sure to check us out at replicaairguns.com. I will have a written article there for you guys with additional photos of this gun and my written article that will be similar to this with a lot of the specifications and stuff in there. If you're interested in buying some other products, we have our Canada and our US online replica airgun stores over at replicaairguns.ca for Canada and replicaairguns.us for the US. Don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Username is Replica Airguns. Until next time, take care.